So check out this dog shit.
Hmm.
This is the old camera. I'm not even sure we're getting enough frames per second on this. Like I've got tracers and shit. Wow. Look, it
Right.
is it literally. Oh my god, this is such a bad camera. But it's all we got because that other one is dead now. And for reasons that will only make sense to William and I, it has morphed into my face. Um, but there it is. Anyway, have you seen the trailer for the upcoming Tron movie?
Uh,
Tron
Funny,
Ares.
I was gonna watch it yesterday, but didn't. So no, I guess I haven't seen it.
I just did.
Oh,
And I don't know if it's gonna be a good or a bad movie. Looks like it could be good, actually.
oh,
Here's what I do know. It's not a Tron movie.
it's not.
No, it's a different movie dressed up to look like Tron. Um, as I understand the trailer, basically an Elon Musk analog creates the perfect super soldier out of an AI program, and I guess nanotech. I don't know. And it's Jared Leto in red Tron armor, and he'll kill everybody for you. And if he dies, they just make a new one. He's and there's a new one. And so it's the ultimate weapon. And then the whole movie is them just going fucking crazy in the real world.
Oh,
And like they have like tanks and shit that are like from the game, but in the real world. And they had cool like instead of lights, well, they probably have light cycles too, but they have light jets. They're planes that like have the thing coming off them. So like visually it looks like it's gonna be really awesome. But and we definitely tie in. I don't really know how, given how the last sequel ended, but Jeffers is here. Flynn himself shows up again, looking kind of like Jesus, like he did in the other one. Um, for some, we get into like the nature of the program and it sort of gaining sentience, and that's probably what causes all the hijinks to ensue. But I'm like, yeah, this is just a sci-fi movie dressed in Tron stuff. Like we're not in the virtual world. It's not the stakes. No, it's weird. At least that's what it seems to me looking at it.
okay.
I don't know. But again, this doesn't necessarily speak to if it'll be good or bad. I am at the point where I just wince when Jared Leto's in something, and he does some great performances sometimes. But it's one of those artist things, I think, and I'm just like, yeah, but he seems like such a douche, and so that becomes a problem. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Magical Talking Hat Podcast, the only podcast in the world where I just realized the other day I once performed as Heathcliff Huxtable. I'm
Okay.
Tony.
And I'm William, and this is episode 750.
In my youth, uh, I had memorized several albums of Bill Cosby material because that was the jam in our house. Was that stuff, and I had little tapes, and I would play them over and over again, and I had them all memorized, and I was just doing an impression of him. But it was also the height of the Cosby Show, and the Cosby Show was super wholesome family fun, such that when I was at the daycare that was just basically this uber Christian lady's house that had a big living room where she let kids hang out, we were absolutely, even though her kids couldn't listen to rock and roll and I had to take my D&D books home because they were scary or whatever, this was fine. Cosby Show, fine for kids. So we watched it. And one time we watched an episode. Here's the details I remember clearly. Um, it was a Halloween episode. Vanessa was having a Halloween party at the house, and it was all about her having a crush on Robert, or Robert, as Rudy would say to tease her. Um, and then also there was a part near the end where Rudy, the youngest kid, stood on Heathcliff's feet and they danced. You know, the little girl standing on your dad's shoes thing that was around before them, but it was one of those. This is all I remember. We watched it, realized we basically I knew it back to front, and they knew it back. A bunch of these kids, we decided to do a performance of it for the family. So we just performed an episode of the Cosby Show. And I was, of course, Heathcliff because I was the tallest, I think the oldest of the kids involved, and had a ready-made impression of the guy. And again, probably had all the episode lines already memorized because that was what I did back then. Yeah, that just hit me the other day. I was like, "Oh shit!" I was, and we had a young black girl with pigtails, so she, whether she liked it or not, was playing Rudy, and she had to stand on my feet and do that whole thing. Anyway, welcome to the show. I haven't described the show last time. I'm not gonna do it this time because see the beginning of that show to see why I'm not describing shit. I don't want to. It's all bad movies and Cosby Show episodes. So it is now almost 2 weeks into the future. How was your week?
Well, I don't remember if I ever talked about seeing Superman.
We did talk about seeing Superman because you said you saw it and I was like, oh wow, and you really liked it.
I did like it.
You liked it a lot, and having watched that Amanda the Jedi video that I sent to you, I absolutely get why you like it, and suspect it would be my favorite Superman movie for a long time back. Again, not really my thing, but it looks like it's a good Superman movie.
Let's see what else.
That is sort of true to that character while doing it, making it interesting. We've talked about this before. My issue is that the heart of the Superman character is incredibly boring to me, but this managed to make that character as it is. You didn't have to change it into whatever Zack Snyder's jacking off to lately. We could be real, honest to goodness Superman, but present a compelling conflict other than, oh, I gotta hide from Lois, which was basically most of Superman canon.
Gotta hide from Lois.
I mean, go into the shit he did, the fucked up shit he did to Lois, so she wouldn't find out is insane, and the shit he did that actually worked, which is it, like, oh my god. But anyway, so it sounds like, yeah, maybe eventually I might actually watch it when it shows up on Max or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
Anything else fun?
Seems like there was something that we watched that might be interesting to you, but now I can't remember. Probably because I didn't think it would be interesting to you or anybody else. So no, not really. We've been watching like docuseries and stuff like we often do. There's absolutely nothing that you'd be interested in that.
Unless they found the money pit. Did they find it?
Well, that's actually a complicated question. And you don't want that much of an explanation.
Weirdly, I think I know what the complicated answer is. I think I can craft basically what the answer is, but you're right. I don't think it makes good podcast.
No,
not as good as just your camera failing and freaking out about that for 5 minutes.
Seems like there was something we started watching, or I mean, we've also tried to watch some stuff that's like, no, this isn't very good, and so we stopped watching.
What was it?
I can't remember. Oh, we have seen Sandman up to, I think they just went like they've only put out half the season.
Yeah, it's real soon though. Like at the end of this month, I think the second half is coming.
I think that's the big thing we've done since last I talked to you. Watch that. Are you gonna watch it?
I am gonna watch it. I am dreading it. I do not think I am going to like it. For all that I liked the first season.
Yeah, I thought the first season was good.
I think they are going to take huge liberties that were not necessary in the source material, and I also think they are going to attempt to truncate the entire series in a way that just fundamentally doesn't work.
Oh yeah, you're probably right about that because they're not going to make any more after this, is what I understand.
This is the last thing Neil Gaiman was involved with that will ever see the light of day.
Yeah,
he is done.
So,
in fact, I think at this point there are still people coming forward with credible accusations. This is the last. There will be supposedly a final movie of Good Omens to wrap up that storyline, but he had nothing to do with it. And it's a shame. They also were just about to make a movie of the Graveyard Book. I think my favorite book of all time. And that will now never happen. And I'm very sad about that. But I also absolutely understand. I would be weirded out if they still did. But yeah. But we shall see. No spoilers. Because some of the major changes I think they're going to do are going to happen like in that first episode, I'm pretty sure. I think they're going to cut a hard left from how the books went, but we'll see. Did you like it? Have you liked it?
Yeah, I have. And I haven't really noticed.
Did you read the source books? I can't remember.
Yeah, I have them all right outside the door there.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
The lead up, the ending of the first season and some of the things I've seen in the trailer imply to me that the first season went through the first 3 volumes.
Okay.
The 4th volume has a very specific and interesting plot line. The end of season 1 and some bits I've seen in the trailer seem to imply that they are doing something completely different. And it is a thing that would fundamentally change the direction of the story. If I'm wrong, that's beautiful.
Well, I might not remember very well, right? Because I read them a long time ago.
Me too, but of course, little bits stick in there.
I mean, I just
was so impressed with the 4th volume. Like, it was such a neat idea.
You and I talked about them when I read them, actually.
Yeah. Oh, we talked about them a lot, I'm sure. Yeah. For a while, it was my whole deal. That was my whole identity. I'm at the point now where I don't think I can go back and read them because they are nastier than I remember in a way that I don't enjoy anymore. But
4th volume, you hesitate to talk about what's in it because I don't remember what the 4th volume is.
Hugely hesitate. I mean, it is one of the most massive spoilers. I can tell you after we're done.
Okay.
But also I don't know that I want it spoiled, so maybe I have to talk to you after we start watching it.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Which we'll see. Which I don't know when it'll happen. I will almost certainly pick it next if Trish doesn't. My pick right now is season 2 of Poker Face.
Oh.
Which is still quite fun. They are leaning into the crazy. Like, these episodes are fucking wild. And I appreciate them. I've learned this recently. Good mystery stories aren't good. Don't work in real life. They aren't good. They're bad ways to murder. Like, let's take the classic Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie stories are awesome in that there's lots of detail and there's lots of different ways you can interpret. But if there's the right clues and you're paying attention, you might get it. And that totally is your detective skills and not a random guess you had, whatever. It's there. But the point is, if you imagine anyone murdering somebody the way they did it in an Agatha Christie story, you're like, that's the dumbest shit ever. Why did you have like 4 false trails, some of which lead back to you, and you could have just shot them, but you did this whole thing, and then you auctioned off the murder weapon? Like, murders are easier to clean up than this. What are you doing? And it's the same kind of thing. Knives Out, all the Rian Johnson stuff. And remember, Rian Johnson has made this happen. Like, he's one of the driving forces behind it. He directed the first one. There's a lot more sort of celebrity directions because a lot of celebrities around. Adam Arkin is an executive producer. Maya Rudolph is an executive producer. And a lot of them are playing around with directing this season, which makes it like the episodes are all very different, but they're also fucking insane. And you don't watch them to try and solve the mystery unless you're playing the meta game like we do, what we call castle rules of like, oh, they introduced that character and then haven't spoken about them since, and that was an actor I recognized, so they are definitely the murderer. Except these aren't whodunits; these are Hal Ketchums.
Oh, like
all of Poker Face is Hal Ketchums, but you still are like, oh, they said that random line with strange emphasis. That's clearly going to be what they catch them on or whatever, like that. So you know what? But they're entertaining as shit, and they're just. The last one we watched involved Kumail Nanjiani with a spotty Floridian accent, a blonde mullet, and a gator on meth. And I know you say Florida, of course it was that, but they're all wild like that, and they all have the most amazing. So it's a very popcorny time, but it's fun, and it's dripping with Natasha Lyonne in directors' chairs, in writers' chairs, and on screen. If you like Natasha Lyonne, this is the most fucking Natasha Lyonne shit. It's gorgeous. This is a fun time. It won't change your life at all, but it's a real fun time. We finished Murderbot. So,
I mean, we did too, and we simply liked it. But you are familiar with the source material, so you probably have some complaints.
This is the thing. It is kind of an infuriating adaptation in that it is close enough that I can't keep from making a comparison because it's quite close. But it's very different. Not in terms of like, oh, they changed this plot thing, or there's some of that, but in general, the story is pretty much the story. But they're trying to do a different thing, and which is fine. But in the process of doing it, it fucks up my image of things. I mean, okay. Here's the shorthand. In order for they're very short novellas. They're novellas. They're not novels. They're little. This season is the first one. Full stop.
Wow.
This was the first small novella, was this book. The way it is in the books, well, I don't know. I've only read the first two, but the way it seems to be in the books is Murderbot's going on trips and has a new adventure in a new place. I will tell you, the second book, none of the characters from the first book are there except Murderbot. The show has been renewed for a second season. It ended in essentially the exact same place. So I don't know if the second season won't have any of those people or what they'll do. Anyway, in order to stretch this out to 10 episodes of a TV show, admittedly half-hour episodes, but still.
Yeah, half hours, yeah.
They had to broaden the story. The plot beats, same. This is what happened. But they had to make it an ensemble thing. So we get way more into depth in the various characters and add a bunch of stuff that did not exist in the books. We occasionally drop in a new character. If you know, you know. Labibi didn't exist in the book at all.
Oh.
She facilitated plot points that were already there, but we didn't have Labibi. Or if we did, she was such a non-character that I genuinely don't remember her being in the book. But I don't think that was true. And it's so much of it is stuff that it's TV, and TV doesn't operate the same as books, and that's fine. So it is a good show. And I do recommend it to people, especially if you aren't familiar with the source material. But if you are familiar with the source material, maybe just keep reading that. And actually, the real joy I got out of this is I think when I'm in Virginia, which by the time this happens, I've been back for a while, but I'm going to leave tomorrow. I think I'm going to reread the books because they're short and I'm on vacation and it'll be nice.
Sure.
The biggest issue, and I don't know entirely if it's me, because near the end of the series, Trish got the bug too and was annoyed. I should say, we both enjoyed it. We both will watch the second season. And again, I do recommend this show. It's a good show. This is a my brain thing, mostly. Except, like I said, this started to bug Trish. But maybe it started to bug Trish because I was bitching about it so much. In order to make this show work, in order to make it the size you want it and everything, every single character that also appeared in the books which is basically every character, not quite, but basically every character, are epically stupider than their book counterpart. So that thing to create conflict. Everything Murderbot itself is an interesting character because it has a very functional calculating brain, and the bit is it doesn't know how to interface with humans who have real emotions and things. And so it screws it up sometimes. And also, it's funny because it is a human-like perspective that finds humans disgusting and weird and confusing because it's not human. It's a great metaphor. It's a beautiful situation. We have a character that is essentially a human. We can relate to it, but it has distance that it can give us a great sort of mirror to humanity. Like, it comes up several times in the source material and the thing. Like, because it has feeds, it's watching everything as part of a security thing. So it sees like if they're having sex, and it finds sex to be the nastiest, grossest thing ever. Like, why is like, and so many things where it's like humans are so emotional in this way. There's an obvious right thing to do, but they won't, because like that's funny and that's compelling and that leads to things. But in order to do it, Murderbot also has to be really fucking stupid. And also, all the other characters are borderline offensive, naive, ignorant hippie types. They make great characters in the show, but they're idiots. They're all just basically like non-functional. Like, they found in the writer's room, there was clearly one fucking Bible thumping, right leaning nut job, and they're like, why don't you write the pacifist hippie types? And he wrote all those characters because every dumb thing anybody's ever made a joke about, vegans and communes, these people are that in such stunning glory, and they all perform greatly. All the acting is brilliant, but I'm like, these weren't. Why is everybody stupid now? They weren't stupid in the book. We did the same story without them being. And Garathan, we gave him such a tragic backstory. He sucks. I know he gets redemption arc or whatever. Spoilers, I guess. But like, he borders on being a secondary antagonist in the show. Nothing like that occurred in the book. I mean, he is enhanced, and that makes a difference in some ways, but all of that. We even set the premise up front that basically they know nothing about security bots because where they're from, they don't have them. That's not true. They're fucking interstellar commonplace items. In the books, they know what they are. They just have different feelings about, like, it becomes they're just so stupid. Why are they so stupid? They don't have to be. I read a book with the same people and they weren't so stupid. Why so stupid? All the times. I kept switching between who pissed me off most. Admittedly, it was usually Wrathy because we gave Wrathy the biggest sense of complete self-delusion of any of them. But they all kind of suck in a lot of ways for that. What do you have to say about this, young man?
I don't know.
Well, there's usually a few things you might say. One, you totally agree with me, which clearly is not the case here.
Well, I haven't read the source material, so
do you think the protagonists are stupid?
That didn't occur to me. No.
Okay, even near the end.
So stupid. Like there's things they should have known, or something. Like, they seemed ignorant of a lot of things. I suppose, but I couldn't. I mean, did that seem out of character, or like so ignorant it's strange credulity or realism? I guess I didn't notice that. Could have, maybe, but I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
They just seemed like I don't know.
Maybe the better word is naive. They just didn't seem like to understand.
Yeah, that's
like, oh, we can't have violence. You're almost certainly going to die. No, we'll be fine. Or meanwhile, again, Wrathy, I've had no combat. We've established I've had no combat experience. We've established I slept through the minimum amount we were required by the contract to get. but I'm constantly like, oh, I'm gonna be a badass, and I'm constantly obviously failing
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
making things worse, but I keep being like, you know what? I'm clearly the man for this job.
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah, all of that stuff. But it the it seemed to fit what they were doing, and I mean, it was like, in other
It
words,
absolutely fit what they were doing, but
yeah,
it
in other
made the
words, it's
characters. I don't believe these people are a function. I don't believe Mensa is smart enough to run a planet, because Mensa's the smartest one of them, and she should be, but even she, like, she at least grasp it. Mostly it's the trio. The trio suck, and Garath and no, they all suck. What am I saying? They all suck. I hate them.
but what I'm saying is, I noticed that naive is a better word. Yes, very naive, and to an absurd degree, yes. But it seemed like that was the point of like
That
it's
was the point of the TV show. What I'm saying is we
yeah,
managed to tell the same plot, the same story without that in the book. Crucially, the important thing about the book, it's all Murderbot's POV. We don't
yeah. You
have
said that
side bits
before.
with other people. We occasionally watch, I mean, we frequently watch conversations, but it's all literally first person Murderbot.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, for okay, for someone who's not read the source material, like
Mhm.
I know theoretically they could have told this story differently. What I'm saying is that all the cues I got as a viewer of just this piece of media without any context was it was supposed to be goofy and stupid and over the top, and you weren't supposed to take it so seriously as to go, oh, nobody would ever do that or anything like that, right? I mean, it's
Okay.
like, now if I'd read the book and I'd seen that the book takes itself a little more seriously than the TV show does, I'm sure I would be very disappointed because, like you
It's the
said,
books
why
are
shouldn't they
still
do that?
comedic, but it's a snarky comedy. It's not a goofy comedy.
Yeah,
And
this
there are
was
certain things. Murderbot in the TV show does things and is like, that was stupid. What the fuck was I doing? And some of those are things that happen in the book.
yeah.
And that's the thing, is because again, there's that disrupt of interacting with humans on a level you never have before and not wanting to, but sort of needing to.
But
Um,
also in having to hide that you are your control thing is turned
yes,
off. You have to hide that too.
again, TV thing. Murderbot says a lot of things out loud that is a bad idea to say out loud. And in the book, they don't, because they're not dumb and they know that would be a terrible thing to say out loud.
Yeah.
But the TV show is a TV show, right? No, we get so much internal monologue from Murderbot. Just put those lines in the internal monologue. Don't be like, oh, why did, like, they keep accidentally speak, like, being able to control when you speak, like think before you speak, is kind of integral to the nature of how this technology work. Like, oh my god, this
No,
is
yeah. I
why?
remember that saying several times, like, whoa, that was bold of him to say that
Yeah,
considering
and he didn't
whatever.
need to.
Well, and
And it
and
there
and there was very
and it dilutes the times when he did, because there are
yes.
times when it's like he did it and it's a plot point or it's important or it shows growth or change or something. But it dilutes that because of all the other times where he's just like, well, that was an inside voice. What were you doing?
Well, but also nobody seemed to notice. That was another thing.
Sometimes,
Yeah. I mean,
sometimes it did.
sometimes there
And
was a
sometimes
point
it
for them to
talked out
notice.
loud by itself, which is a thing that tends to annoy me in general, but at least with humans, I get why they do that. Like, what the fuck?
So yeah, but I mean, the
Also, it's a
whole
he, which I don't like. We've discussed that. It's
yes,
a it. It definitely
but
needs to
but
be a it.
but
But
the show gave me all the cues of don't think too much about this, William. Which it's hard for a show to convince me to not think too much about it, but I was perfectly happy to just sort of go with it just
um,
the way it was.
and
So
it is funny. This show brought up some interesting sort of holes in the nature of the technology to me that
mm,
I was like, that's true in the books too. I probably shouldn't go down this rabbit hole too hard. I think maybe it's just like we just wait because it's not hard sci-fi. In
no,
places it tries, but it's not hard sci-fi. Um yeah, I think that's what it's a very good show. It's the books are commentary in a very focused, snarky, intriguing kind of way for me, and this show's just more of a goofy fun time, but it is a goofy fun time. Garathan sucks. I'm sorry. It's the same way with Eternals. Druig sucks. Like, I get why, and I get that it gets better, but Garathan sucks. That I full on am mad about that portrayal. And it's not like that's a character I loved or anything. I hate that portrayal in anything I see. That is a character type, and I dislike it. It just not because it's not realistic. I just don't enjoy the presence of it.
What character type do you mean?
The well, the weirdly often autistic coded, hyper paranoid. Like, I'm literally here to refuse to trust anything just so we can't accidentally resolve this. Like, I am here to make sure we will never achieve consensus, regardless of whether it makes more sense for me, or sometimes I say right things. Sometimes I'm right to be distrustful. But the point is, it doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong. All I will do is undermine everything. And what's more, and this is what really got me, I'll be a fucking dick about it. We can't trust this thing. It might kill us. It did save someone's life, and so far has been super good to us, and we would absolutely be dead without it. But, and this is a valid point, we cannot trust it for a variety of reasons. This could be bad. At any second, it could kill us. It's not safe. What? As a group, we've decided we're doing it. Okay, I don't trust it, but it's not like I can change your mind. But everything it says, I'm going to be snarky and shitty to it. Just to, I guess, increase the odds that it wants to kill me. Like, this is the whole thing I've talked about before with villains who are like, I don't want to do this, but I have to because of the greater good. But I'm going to be just a douche about it. Like,
Yeah.
the greater good didn't make you be a dick. Like, be nice to people while you're doing it. All the more reason. You know how terrible it is. Maybe try and offset by being as polite and kind and understanding as you can in the process of this self-admittedly horrific thing. It's the same deal. I'm like, why are you being a dick? It's a petulance. It's a character whose defined characteristic is petulance annoys me. And you can say whatever you want about Garathan and suspicion and whatever, and we give him so much backstory to try and explain this that did not exist anywhere in the source material. But his defining trait is just petulance. And we even gave some reasons for that, which did not make it any more enjoyable to watch that happen.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
And I love David Dastmalchian, and I love that he's really on the way up, and I would have loved to see him do something else. I would have loved to see him play Rathi.
So that's interesting. Like, he and Skarsgård,
yeah,
are the only two people that I recognize from the season.
Same. I looked. Oh, no. There is one. The chemist or whatever, the one who originally has her life saved, and the one who has to like pull.
Oh yeah. She's in.
She's Auntie Teeny from fucking Reservation Dogs.
Yeah. Yep.
I for like 2 episodes I was spotting her, and I'm like, I definitely. I looked her up, and I'm like, holy shit!
But she's in something else too. I think she's in Outer Range or.
Oh, I think you might be right. I think I saw that. I didn't watch that, but I think I saw that. There's things. Labibi's been around for a surprisingly long time, and she's like, when I saw her, I was like, was Lauren Lapkus busy? This really feels like Lauren Lapkus' part. And I looked it up. It seems like she's in a lot of similar things where she's had quite a prolific career, and they all have had a lot. I was confident I knew Mensa, and I don't, but she's been in a whole bunch of things, and none of them are particularly new to the business. And again, everybody did a great job. I think the show did exactly what it wanted to, and I think it is a great show for it. Certain things annoyed me, and I think some of the things that annoyed me are aggravated by the fact that I liked it better in the books. This is not normally a position I take. With an adaptation, I'm usually fine. Either it's a pretty good adaptation, or it's a very bad one, in which case I'm like, it's just a different thing. It's not related to that, and that's fine. But That being said, I don't usually like adaptations. I don't know why I said I did. I don't. But not on this level. I'm just like, yeah, it wasn't for me. And this one, I mean, I think I liked it. Like I said, I'm gonna watch a second season, but I don't know. I'm very curious. The second season, if it's if it's tied into the books like this one was, is going to have very few characters. There are not a lot of characters in the second one.
Well, I thought Skarsgård did a exceptionally good job with a lot of scenes anyway.
Yeah. Again, for what they wanted, I think he did real well with it. I guess he's the goofy Skarsgård. We were recently trying to like figure out all our Skarsgårds because it's hard and complicated by the fact that for years I thought Peter Sarsgaard was one of them.
Oh yeah.
He spells and pronounces his name differently.
Right.
Uh, and Stellan's the dad, I think.
I mean,
And then
so.
this one's Alexander. And Bill is the one that's fucking everywhere. Bill's the young one who's Pennywise and
Pennywise
the Crow, and not he was in 9 Days, which I don't. You need to see that if you haven't. That movie was amazing. I keep pushing that movie for people like nothing else. Like there's very few things I push unreservedly, but I'm like everybody should see 9 Days. Do it, and he's in that, along with a lot of other good people. And I think there's a fourth one, but I don't know him or something.
Yeah, there's another brother whose name I can never remember.
Yeah, it's like the Hemsworths. It's confusing.
Oh, and then actually, I think there's two more now. One of them played. He was in Vikings. He was Floki in Vikings, and he's been in something else recently. I saw he was a cop of some, but I don't remember. But then there's yet another one.
Nepotism is so alive and well in Hollywood. It's amazing. Speaking of, so I'm talking with my sister the other day. I was talking about Gene Wilder, and she brings up, did you watch The Bear?
No.
Trish watched a little bit of it. It just looked a little too realistic in ways I wasn't going to enjoy, so I didn't watch it. But the lead in that, I don't remember his name. He's kind of a hot property right now. He is Gene Wilder's grandson. And once you know this and you look at him, you absolutely can see it. But looked it up because I told Trish and she's like, wait on. He's Gene Wilder's step grandson. Gene Wilder has no actual blood children, I believe.
Oh, really?
But he has some stepchildren, and he's a step grandson. They have no blood relation whatsoever. He's the child of his stepdaughter, I think, from one of his marriages. So they have no blood relation, but he still fucking looks like Gene. Like once you see it, you're like, no, but he does. He looks like Gene Wilder. Like he looks like he could be Gene Wilder's grandson. It's just funny. Anyway, Murderbot. I mentioned A Knight's Tale earlier, and I do want to talk for a second about A Knight's Tale because we wanted to watch it the other day. I don't know why. Trish was like, I think we should either watch A Knight's Tale or we should watch Young Frankenstein, which you've been talking about. And I was like, well, let's watch Young Frankenstein because I've been talking about it. Let's do it. And it's nowhere. And it turns out apparently this is famously the case. Young Frankenstein is notoriously difficult to find on streaming. And I have before because I watched part of it, like the first 10 minutes, but I was too high and it was confusing. So I stopped. But it'll pop up every once in a while, but it's very hard to find and it'll disappear. And right now it's no place. Luckily, I have sources who use extrajudicial powers to anyway, I now have access to it and will probably watch it soon.
Oh, okay.
But the rest of you can suffer. But anyway, so we were like, well, how about we watch A Knight's Tale instead? And we saw A Knight's Tale in the theater, I'm pretty sure. Have you seen A Knight's Tale?
Yeah, I don't think I did see it in the theater, but we did. It was like on Netflix or something streaming, or no, actually I might have seen it on a disc we got discs from Netflix for a lot longer than other people.
What?
We don't
A
anymore, of course, but
disc? What do you mean? Like a circular monitor? What that you watch your streaming stuff? What are you
I
talking
think we
about?
rented it. I think
Like
we
a
got a disc
fucking frisbee?
like that. I think, yeah, I think we rented
Damn,
it
if
from
I
Netflix
hadn't
as a disc.
sworn that could have been the episode title. Like a fucking frisbee? That's not from anywhere. I just invented it and I'm extremely tickled with it.
But it's got
Everyone.
right, but uh Heath Ledger in it.
Yes. Heath
Okay.
Ledger is the lead.
And I think that's why we saw it, because he was in it. So
For those of you not familiar, it is a movie from 2001, I think, about some squires. It's about jousting, and there's some squires to this one knight who jousts, and they go to get him for this jousting, and he's fucking dead. And they're like, "Shit, he was gonna win, and we would finally get to eat." And so one of them's like, "I'm gonna put on his armor and pretend to be him because like he almost had won. I just have to like not fall off the horse and he'll win, and then we can get the money and fucking eat." And they do this, and then the Heath Ledger one is like, it was always my dream to be a knight, even though that's literally impossible because like I'm not a knight, and you kind of have to be born into that shit in this era, this unspecified era. Let's do this some more. I'll pretend to be a knight, and then we'll get money. Is it cool? And after some convincing, they're like, it's cool. And hijinks ensue. This is the movie. It is in medieval times. And I say that as a time period, and also because a lot of it looks like it was filmed in a medieval times restaurant. It has Heath Ledger, who was kind of known at this point because he had done The Patriot and he had done 10 Things I Hate About You. And he
yeah,
had done Roar, the TV show, but I'm not sure that made him more famous. But he was, and also his history, as with Hemsworth's, is as an Australian teen soap opera star. But he had been breaking into America with 10 Things I Hate About You and being the oldest son, I think, in The Patriot. So he's kind of a known entity. British television actor Paul Bettany is in this, and he is not a known entity, particularly in this country at the time. Alan Tudyk of Firefly and Resident Alien and every animal voiced in every Disney movie fame is so unknown I didn't remember he was in this. But he's a main character looking as Alan Tudyk as shit. Like, you can't miss it. But he was pretty much nobody. And then one, I never remember his name, but there's a guy who was in the original Full Monty movie and later had a sitcom in America called Still Standing. And he shows up. He's one of those you'd spot if you saw him, and he's one of the main guys. And then there are exactly 3 women in this movie, all of whom have had decent careers. But this movie fails the Bechdel test hard. And it also has a woman in it who is the love interest of Heath Ledger. And then they did a different movie called The Order, which is completely different and also a great time, but in a bad way because it's pretty dumb, but it's fun. And she's the love interest in that. And I was like, are they a thing or whatever? No, same writer director as this for some reason. And they just like, and I never really saw her in much anything else after that. Anyway, also the villain is Rufus Sewell. And I can say that now because after so many years, I have finally figured out what his name is. His name is Rufus Sewell, and he's the villain in fucking everything. And he's such a good villain. He will stare through you. He's such a good villain just looking. He was also the lead in Dark City, but he's fucking everywhere. Basically, he's a less acclaimed Joaquin Phoenix or a slightly scarier Clive Owen. He's in that camp. And you see him and you know him, and I love him, and he plays such good villains, and he's the villain in this. Also, Portfoy, James Portfoy shows up in a small part for which he's not even credited. It's kind of weird. But anyway, movie fucking holds up. Movie rocks. If you are prepared for 2 things, Um, our hero is a 90s hero. Like he does some sexist bullshit and then later realizes if he doesn't do them people will like him better so he doesn't, but you don't really have an arc of him like learning. Like there's a very early line where she's like he wants the name of the woman and she's like if I wasn't beautiful would you still want my name, and he's like of course not. And like that is never addressed. So it's when they fall in love and there's no reason for them, etc. And so it's that kind of shit. But that's not what you want. This is an action comedy. And the most important thing is it's anachronistic as fuck. Intentionally. Like within its own thing. The whole soundtrack is modern. In some brilliant ways. There's this great dancing scene, and it's very courtly music, but there's something about the melody that you're like, they're playing it on like a lyre, but this sounds familiar. And then every once in a while, you just get this little whisper of somebody going, "Angel," and you're like, "Wait a second, what the?" And then it busts out full David Bowie Golden Years, and you realize you've been listening to that the whole time. And it's very cool, and it has a lot of Queen in it, including some Queen that's actually done by Queen. Like most of it is the original artist. The soundtrack must have cost a shit ton. And it's just a fun group of characters. It's a goofy movie, and it's a good time. It's a good time. Like you should watch it, and it's real fun to see little baby people. I was already, I'm a very big fan of Paul Bettany. Not necessarily everything does, but he plays supposedly, insofar as this has a real story. Geoffrey Chaucer has a period of a couple of years in his history that we don't know where he was. And this is ostensibly that time period because
Oh.
Geoffrey Chaucer is in this movie and he plays essentially Heath Ledger's hype man. And you could argue that he invents the concept of like the pro wrestling introduction in this movie. It's that kind of vibe.
Hmm.
And
So
we just
like
happen upon him. Like there's a silly he's passing us muddy and naked on the road, and we just see him go, and then we like, what are you doing? And so we never really know his backstory, but it's Geoffrey Chaucer.
and it so I guess I must have forgotten that because I mean I didn't know that it was supposed to. Is the film at all based on Chaucer's Knight's Tale
No, no, no,
or
no, 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 no. This is just like, wouldn't that be funny? Like that, I think that's the explanation for the character being. No, this is a movie where they literally go to the Jousting World Championships, which I am confident did not exist. And also at one point where Alan Tudyk calls somebody Quasimodo, and I'm like, that character would be invented probably several hundred years from now. But meanwhile, there's a joke that Alan Tudyk's character, who's the dumb one, is constantly threatening to fong people. Like that's a running joke. I will fong you because we don't know what it means, but it's clearly a threat of physical violence. But I looked it up, and it's sort of maybe based on an actual Middle English word meaning to attack. So like, I think they just got high and made a movie. Like,
so there's
but it turned
there's
out to be a fun movie. Like
okay.
it's not hard to understand. It's absolutely hard to reconcile with any concept you have of history or literature, but it's not a hard movie to understand and it's fun.
But they call it A Knight's Tale like and Chaucer's in it.
Like from exactly.
Huh, okay.
I mean, all right, here's what I will say. I do not know of anything more specific they are trying to imply from a literary or historic perspective. It is entirely possible that the writer director will tell you there is. I think they are full of shit. I think this is a Dumbledore was always gay bullshit. If the writer director says that, which I'm not saying they did or will. Like, I'm not saying they said that, but if they did, they're fucking liars. This
Okay.
movie this movie makes Shakespeare in Love look like a documentary. But it's not trying to do anything else. And it's I know I keep going back to it. It's fun. It's not there's some goofy lowbrow humor, but there's not a ton of it. It's very creative in one of those ways. Like, it's that idea. It's the Emily Dickinson series on Apple. Like, what if we sort of recontextualize this, like, to modern sensibilities in this time, and then you make jokes out of that? Like, this is crazy shit for them. What if jousting was kind of the pro wrestling of the era? Let's do that. But we also are playing in a medieval space, and like, oh, tradition is this, and da, da, da. And it's a very dumb love story, and it's a very dumb, right? Spoiler alert, there's a happy ending. Like, I mean,
I
but
think
it's just a fun time.
I think we
And
saw it
everybody's doing a great job.
because Heath Ledger was in it. We were curious, and we thought it would be awful, and it wasn't. This is our
No, it's just,
recollection. It wasn't bad at
yeah.
all.
It's not trying to be, it doesn't have a message except in the, believe in yourself and you can, change your circumstances. It doesn't, it only has a generic borderline Disney message.
Mhm.
Which your movie almost always has to. If you don't have them, if you have literally zero message, you're Harmony Korine, and I don't care. So you have to stick something in there to put a story on. But it's not, you don't learn anything. It's just you watch a bunch of actors doing a funny, occasionally action oriented story, and it's a bunch of actors you really like, some of which are dead now. Like,
Yeah.
it's fun. So I would recommend it. And it's fucking everywhere. I think we saw it on Plex. I think it's on. I mean, it's old enough now that it's just around.
Right.
You can find it. So check that shit out. I think that's all the stuff I had, and we're about at the time. So I apologize if I even more than usual dominated the conversation today. I was anxious about filling the time because we had no emails. I may have overdone it, or maybe I just have way too strong of feelings about movies and TV. That could be it. Oh fuck. Okay, we're gonna run long.
Oh.
I need to talk about something. I'll
Okay.
try not to take too long, and this is a serious thing. I was going to talk to you after the show about it. But I realized this is a thing. Insofar as this show has any integrity, this is the kind of thing I talk to our listeners about, and I want them to know.
Okay.
It's a mental health journey thing. Well, you already know that. Wait, yeah, we haven't talked about this on here. I have new meds.
Mhm.
We didn't talk
You
about it on the show, right?
I don't remember if we talked about it on the show.
Okay, because
But
we talked a lot about it after the show.
yeah, I think so.
Anyway, my mental health has not been doing great, and so I had my medication management thing, and we have adjusted my meds, and we actually already have plans for like what happened, because the first thing we're doing is very simple. There is a medication I started taking more recently, has done great things. Slipping a little, we're adjusting the dosage because there's still a lot of room, and it's a very easy one to get used to. So it's a nice, safe, simple first step. So we're
Okay.
doing that. But
Good.
we added in something new, something
Oh.
that I have sort of been pushing back on, but I decided it'll work. I now have an acute medication for
Oh.
anxiety. I
Okay.
have I got to give kudos to the performance of you acting like you haven't heard this before. You're doing a great job.
No, I don't think I have heard that particular thing you said before.
The way I referred to it before was in case of emergency, break glass medication.
Oh, yeah, you did talk
But I
about
have
that.
found that metaphor is confusing to people.
Okay. Yes, you did say that before, but you didn't.
Yes.
The term that I didn't hear before was acute. I didn't hear you. You didn't say that.
Well, and
Or
maybe I'm misusing it. Nobody said it. I'm using my knowledge of the definition of the word acute
okay.
and putting it here. If
I
it means
just
something specific in Mentalk the Mind Taker land where you live,
no,
that's
it seemed
fine.
like different or new information is all
No,
I'm
no, no.
saying.
This is the same shit. It's
Okay.
lorazepam, also known as
Oh,
Ativan.
yes, we did talk about that.
But at the time, but we didn't
Sorry.
talk about it on the air.
No,
I
we
don't think.
didn't. You're right.
And I don't, when we had talked about it, I had not used it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. But I may or may not have expressed to you at a time my concern about you. Well, in general, I was this is one of those drugs that's in the family of Valium and Xanax. It most commonly is you're having a panic attack, you take one of these. or if you feel one coming on. In my case, it is in certain situations I have difficulty with emotional regulation due to my anxiety, and I just need to calm down a little bit. And so we got this. I'm of course worried because I have such an addictive behavior in general, and I'm like, if they're good, I'm just gonna take them all, and then I'll be hooked on a new thing. And he's like, well, first of all, I'm only giving you so many over so much time. It's a very small amount. And I was like, okay, let's just start with the first small amount, and then we'll see how that goes. And he's also like, this one in particular is one of the least in terms of addiction and in terms of like psychoactive effects or whatever. Like, so this is the safest one for what you're talking about. And I was like, okay. But I told you, I think, I'm like, I want to try it before I need it because I don't know what it does.
Yes, you did.
This one can do all sorts of shit. It can make you kind of loopy. It can make you kind of tired. In general, I have no idea. I've never taken something like this.
Yes, and you don't
Uh,
want the first time you take it to be in an
yeah.
emergency type of situation.
And in spite of my history of recreational drug use in college and later on, I was not a pill guy. Pretty much every drug that you might take recreationally as a pill, I've not done. So I don't even know what Xanax feels like. Maybe once I had Valium for I don't know. And famously, I got so big onto Percocet that my doctor just had to stop returning my calls because I kept begging him for more Percocet, which is an opioid. I know it's different, but anyway, so I'm nervous about trying it. So I come up with the idea. I'm because well, especially we're going on a trip. We're going to Virginia, as we do annually, and I'm like, that's a time where I'm not in my familiar environment. I'm surrounded by other people on a regular basis. And in case I would want it, I don't have access to weed. So it is often a very stressful time. And this would be, and especially lately, this would be a great time for that. So plan for that. But again, don't want to try it till I know. And I'm like, you know what? This Sunday, having supper with the neighbors. And that's a stressful situation for me because it's socializing, which is stressful for me. Um, but it's pretty safe because it's my friends and there's not a ton of them. And I know this environment, or this seems like a great time that it's not just like sitting at home watching TV trying it. Cause what would that tell me? But it's not scary. So I'm like, that's what I'll do. But I didn't do that because on Saturday, my evening was pretty fucked for a variety of reasons, including fighting with the DoorDash people and all sorts of stuff. And that night I was gaming in my online, not D&D gaming group with all my friends from college. And I was like, I'm pretty stressed and twitchy. You know what? Here's a great time to try this. So I did, and I informed them. I'm like, you guys are being a test for me. I have
Mm.
just taken this. Come to turn out, one of them in earlier days actually was on a ton of this, and they're like, it saved my life. I absolutely needed it. When I got off it, it was so rough to get off of.
Mm.
But he was taking a ton. He was taking 3 times one of my pills every day on a schedule.
Wow.
Like again, because this is the 90s. We kind of didn't know how this shit worked, or maybe it was the 2000s. I don't know. But and it was very important to him. But anyway, so I took it.
Mhm.
I really like it.
Mm.
Um Therapeutically speaking. And
Mhm.
in fact, to the degree that now I'm worried that it's so effective it's what it's doing and has none of the side effects that I was worried about that I might use it too much. But so far I have not. It first of all, no buzz at all. No psychoactive effect. In no way do I feel high. If you snuck it to me, like in my drink or something, I might not know I ever was on anything.
Mm.
But I definitely noticed an effect. Like, and it's hard to put into words if you're not in my brain, but I just was less worried about things. The best way I can explain it is in most long-term social situations of a group, which means Sunday supper, gaming, any of those, frequently I will say or do things, or other people will say or do things that upset me and don't upset anyone else. Either I said something that I'm like, that was mean of me. And it may be something that didn't really impact it. It was just a simple disagreement, but I feel bad. Or maybe it did like hurt their feelings, but like they're like, that kind of sucked. I'm like, yeah, you're sorry. And we went on to something else, but I will carry it with me. Or
Mm.
somebody said something to me, and I will take it from that event and spend the next several hours or that evening being mad. Like, oh, I can't believe I said, mostly at me, occasionally at others, but most I can't believe I said that. Or I needed to think more before I spoke it. And almost always nobody even fucking remembers except me. But it bugs me. This evening in question, I can't say for sure, but I feel like I said and did things that absolutely would have triggered those feelings in me, and they just weren't there.
Hmm.
Like, occasionally I interrupted somebody, occasionally somebody said something that I didn't agree with, whatever, and it just was like it felt like that's normal because I think for most people that is normal. And afterwards I was fine. And like that's the dream.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's how I want life to be.
But this is like the equivalent of a nebulizer for a person with asthma, right? You're only supposed to take it to manage.
I mean, I don't know how other people use it. Again, I think at the time when my friend was doing it regularly, they didn't like it was still sort of wild westy on this
Well,
kind of
see,
shit.
that's my question
But
is it is Ativan only used that way? I mean, I thought some people just took it as a management tool for their
some people may.
anxiety.
It is, despite being one of the less addictive ones, it is fairly addictive, apparently.
Oh, I see.
So that's part of the issue.
Hmm. And you're especially concerned about that.
Because yeah, everything. But yeah, we'll see. I will see. I mean, I meet with him in a couple months, then we'll talk again, and I will definitely tell him how the experience has been, and we'll
Hmm.
see what happens.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I mean, I'm glad it
It's good
worked.
to know it's there, and so far at least, I haven't been like, oh, I should take one. I get like that. That hasn't happened.
That hasn't happened. Okay.
So I'm very pleased. But again, I don't know. You and I get into the nitty gritty of my bullshit in private, and
Hmm.
more, I actually feel like, in a way, sometimes oversharing is putting burdens on others, including on the internet. But I do feel like there's a certain, I at least have established a certain commitment to this podcast that I'm going to be honest about and upfront about the steps in my mental health journey.
Sure.
I guess maybe just imagine that some people appreciate that. I don't know that it helps them relate. I Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I'm not sure anybody's actually told me that, but I don't know
Well,
that it became important to me at some point.
yeah, and
And so
I think it's a valid thing to say the more people openly talk about certain things, the less weird or stigmatized or whatever it is.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
whether or not anyone's interested, there's that other side of it, which is yes, but it's normal to talk about.
Yeah.
In
And we
fact,
talk hypothetically a lot, but this is I'm like, I
correct.
want people to know this is a real
Yeah,
person. I mean, as
yeah,
real as I am, but
yeah.
and this is what I'm going through. So that's what I'm sharing with y'all. I hope you enjoy that. If you have any questions, uh go to the blog, magicaltalkinghat.com. I'm pretty open about my crap like that. Also write us in the magicaltalkinghat at gmail.com with stuff for us to talk about. If you want me to do, I will sit here with my pill case, and I take so many pills, you would be amazed. And I will show you each one and try and guess what they're for, if that's what you want. Um, Also, maybe if you're good children, I will tell you a story that I told William about how I found out that I am technically eligible for legal medical marijuana within Iowa and turned it down. But we are out of time, so I will tell that story if people ask for that story. This is a little test on you. I don't have to tell that story, but I can if you want. And if you're one of those people who sees me regularly and is worried that the groundswell of our listener base won't do it, yeah, I'll just tell you in private when I see you. But anyway, that's it for now. And also, I hope Virginia was nice. I don't know.